Morning, Mum's here. I'm here. And our book, Thriving at Nature's Pace, is about new approach to climate change. And actually, I've been sending some posts on LinkedIn this morning about this weather change that's coming. It's called El Nino. So what happens is that the oceans get hotter and cold and hot and cold along. And in the sort of Pacific around Australian places, when it gets hot, it changes the way in which the wind flows around and everything. And that period when that happens is called El Nino. And it's coming. There's one other one coming, so it comes and goes in cycles. So this summer is going to happen, and what happened the last times when it happened is that places like India and Vietnam and all the places that are known for growing rice and things like that had big problems with growing their rice because it got too hot, there was not enough water, or there was all sorts of things. Because when the weather changes, how you can grow things get affected. And I remember Sainsbury's, where I go to, they have these 52p a kilogram rice, and I get that. And the next one up is like £1.50 a kilogram.
Wow,
So
so
it was very
the price
different.
has gone up.
So the 52p a kilogram ones disappeared, and you're left with a very expensive one. So I've been preparing. I've been buying them, preparing for that. I don't know whether they will go, what will happen, but we'll see. Because you can keep rice. I remember we used to have big tubs of rice, and you eat it at a time. It doesn't mean that you won't have that, but it does mean that there's a chance the food we use will just disappear from the shelves. So it's worth thinking about, being prepared. Don't wait until it happens. Go and get prepared. So that's just a comment about it, and that's what doing things at nature's pace is kind of about, because you can't just simply assume everything will be how it is, and you can't fight, something as big as like a storm coming and things like that. So you have to kind of be a little bit more sensible about what you can do and what you can't do. So, chapter 13, doing things at nature's pace. One fact stands out about climate change. Over 80% of the world's energy comes from oil and gas and coal. Another related fact is equally important. The actual amount of oil and gas and coal use keep increasing. Loosely, this means everything uses oil and gas and coal. Since oil and gas and coal are the drivers of climate change through the emissions they create, indirectly through the activities they enable, it means every activity makes climate change worse. It's kind of worth thinking about. This is harsh, but it is the reality. Its implications is that no project can deliver benefits without, at the same time, making climate change worse. This calls for rethinking of how projects need to be planned and implemented. The benefits of a project will have to accrue from the get-go. The longer it takes before tangible benefits appear, the more harm will be created in the meantime. The cost of making climate change worse will accrue, making the project less likely to be overall beneficial. Add to this the fact that as climate change worsens, there's a greater likelihood that funding will falter as the global economy struggles to deal with the disruptions. This makes it even more important to rethink how to design ambitious projects to bring benefits right from the start. Imagine building a major highway to connect two urban areas many hundreds of miles apart. The emergent approach will start by identifying a stretch in between the two endpoints, where a connecting road would bring sufficient immediate benefits to warrant the costs. That answers where the first section should be built. If there are no such section, then maybe the road should not be built at all. This is an important realization. An emergent approach accepts that having a good idea is not a sufficient reason for doing things, especially when everything that is done makes climate change worse. Sections built in this way mean that the energy and resources spent would be rewarded faster than having to wait for the whole project to complete. Should anything happen to the project, nothing would be wasted. The sections can further help limit climate change if the economies created can be used to sell thrive contracts to nature to keep oil and gas and coal in the ground. This can further provide Thrive coins to boost the fledgling economies. The subsequent sections follow the same principle. When the first section has been built, it will help bridge the gap between the places that are suitable for the next sections. The economics of merge will also help connect places with new opportunities. Again, the economics created should allow more Thrive contracts to be sold back to nature. Economics developed in this way would emerge more naturally and would help shape the road further. If for whatever reason the project fails, no resources will be wasted. If they fail to connect the initial start and end points, it would simply reflect that the anticipated economic benefits are not there. However, the ambition would have allowed some development to happen and provide opportunities to keep some oil and gas and coal in the ground along the way. Projects that progress in this way automatically adapt to changing physical and economic conditions. These changing conditions are likely to happen as climate change gets worse. This approach allows a major highway to emerge organically, to resemble the paths that appear in nature. It will meander with the landscape through communities, bringing benefits to them. Each section of the highway completing creates new choices. The whole highway emerges as a response to the sections that have been completed, and as it develops, it shapes the sections that follow. This is how nature works. Nature did not have a big blueprint for the planet when life began. It does not have a blueprint now. It progresses in steps where each step develops by bridging the opportunities present with the resources to hand. And each step is then allowed to settle to provide opportunities for the next steps to emerge. Importantly, when the opportunities are unclear, the steps can wait. This is doing things at nature's pace. Nature's pace, however, also incorporates a natural sense of equity by preventing things that are big from ever becoming too big to fail. Elephants, for example, push down large trees in the savanna. This creates space for new growth. Beavers also disrupt the flow of fast-flowing rivers with their dams to create calm ponds. These actions create niches for new species to occupy and create greater abundance. This is why elephants and beavers are keystone species. They prevent the dominant structures from becoming too dominant. This is what needs to happen with oil and gas and coal. A genuinely beneficial transition can only come about by letting the world know the reign of oil and gas and coal is coming to an end. The giants of the oil and gas and coal industry control the largest industrial infrastructure in the world. There are over 1 million kilometers of oil pipelines and 7,500 tankers, all carrying over 100 million barrels of oil every day. On top of this, there is a fast-growing infrastructure for liquefied natural gas. There are also tens of thousands of mining trucks hauling 9 billion tons of coal each year to transport across the world. Supporting all of that is $150 trillion in investment money. Without the ability to make money by keeping oil and gas and coal in the ground, every dollar spent reinforces this reign of oil and gas and coal. However, this investment money is the most powerful force in the world. It is wielded by the investment industry. It can be controlled by the global citizenry through the money that people collectively spend. Thrive contracts can allow people to be like the elephants and the beavers to disrupt the reign of the oil and gas and coal. That will signal a future that thrives at nature's pace. So that's that. And we're finishing on that part, and the next one is about reconciling investments, which takes us on to that next part about how we can actually think about how our money actually impacts it all and use it in the ways that we want. So, Mum, what do you think of today?
Well, we haven't got any extra rice.
No.
No.
So we have to prepare, stock a little bit.
Yeah, because last time we have got only half a mug of rice left.
Oh no, okay.
And then we have to cook. And then Katie asked me, where's the rice? I said, we haven't got any extra rice.
Okay,
and then I said, oh. And then she said, shall I go to buy some? I said, no, we have got mantou. So I tell her to steam the mantou.
Well, that's good. So this is the other thing, because one of the things that we have to do in nature's pace is to adjust what we do. And we can't keep doing the same thing because those same things will not be there. So like you say, we instead of rice, we have to eat something else. And instead of those other things, we have to carry on. And that way we'll find our pace.
Yeah. So, well, and then I tell them, well, you have to warn us when the jar is coming to
It's running out, yeah.
you're halfway, then you
Yes.
have to tell Maria to buy,
Yes,
to order the rice.
yes.
Don't leave it
Don't leave it
until
until the end. Exactly. Be prepared. Okay. All right. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye.
Take care. Have a lovely day. God bless.